can start from when I was told by my grandmother about when I was born in Chicago, Illinois. And they took me to have me baptized. And my godfather was real busy picking up my booties and my socks and everything that I kept kicking off all during the baptism. My grandmother said that he was a mafia person because they lived across the road from where my parents were, and for some reason they considered them to be mafia. And I don't know. I really don't know his name or don't know anything more about him. We left Chicago probably a week or two at the most. They said that they put me on a pillow to take me to Ohio where they were going to. And so that's where I spent the next 10 years of my life in Ohio. And that would be like Lorain, Ohio, and Cleveland. And I don't know the difference between the two. As a child, I didn't differentiate where in Ohio I was. We had my dad's sister
Were
who
you in a
was
city or was it on a farm?
in the city. I was a city girl. And my Aunt Betty, my dad's sister, she had children about our same age. And so it was always great going to their place to do things with the cousins all the time. And we spent a lot of holidays together and just time together doing things. I have a brother who is 2 years my junior, and he was my sidekick all the time. And we ran all over Cleveland. I remember we thought we should try to earn money, and so we would go in and out of taverns and shine shoes when we were children. And a lot of times they would like to have me shine them because they didn't know about a girl shining shoes, and so they kind of liked that. We also went to the supermarket, and I think we were kind of the startup of Box Boys because we would help people out to their vehicles with their groceries and take their carts back for them, and they would give us coins. Now, my mother died when I was 10, and so
what was her name?
Her name was Bella May, and her maiden name was McCune. And so we have a lot of Irish blood in us from the McCune side of the family.
Okay. Well, what was your maiden name?
My maiden name was Wagner.
Okay.
So there comes the German.
Well, when did you end up coming out west?
I was sent when I was 10 years old by airplane by myself up to my grandmother in Alaska, in Sitka, Alaska. And it was interesting because the planes landed in the water in Sitka. They didn't have an airport. They just had a little tiny runway. And thank goodness the people on the plane realized that I probably had never known that. And so they warned me that we were going to land in the water, which was really good because I would have been excited about that. And so then landed in the water, and then the plane runs up onto this little tiny runway. And then from that point on, I lived with my grandmother, and we lived in Sitka, we lived in Juneau. We took a time that we lived in Hawaii, and that was about a 6-month time, and I went to school in Hawaii, and then we went back to Alaska, and then we came down to Washington. My grandmother followed my Uncle Jim around because he was her son, her only son. The rest of her children were daughters, my mother, and she had 2 sisters. And
I love that story about shining shoes.
I can remember going in and out of taverns to do that. And You know, I don't know why we always thought we needed to try to earn money, but yeah, I think it was just terrible sweet tooths. Oh, another thing Sonny and I used to do in the summertime, we would get one of our mother's stockings and put it over our head, and we'd go trick or treating around the neighborhood with the stocking over our head because sweet tooth, we wanted candy. And people would give it to
I
us.
love that. Uh,
And my grandmother would tell a story about when I was little. I must have been maybe 2, 3 years old, and we lived over top of like Woolworths. Don't hear that name anymore, but that was a store where they had all kinds of things. Well, they had tricycles there.
did they have a little cafe and drugstore, soda fountain in there?
Probably, I don't remember that, but my grandmother would say I would go down there and I would get on the tricycle and I would ride it out of the store.
Ah,
And she would go down and she'd say, "Why didn't you stop her?" Because she was too cute. They never stopped me because I was too cute. Little curly haired girl.
ah,
And my uncle Jim, who was my mother's only son, he would say all he ever saw was me going over fences with the little ruffled panties. So I think I was a little stinker.
that's a wonderful story. Anything like when you were you were in high school in Hawaii and Alaska, or
No, I was in probably junior high type in Hawaii
uh-huh.
and Alaska. I did high school here in Spokane.
Oh,
Went to first of all North Central and then to Shadle Park. Dale and I both went to Shadle Park and graduated from Shadle Park.
oh, did you meet Dale there?
No, Dale and I met. He was in the Navy and he came home on leave, and his parents lived. We had one house in between the house I lived in and the house he lived in,
Oh,
and the fellow that lived in the house between us said, "Oh, do you want to meet her?" And of course he did, and so I had never met him before, didn't know him from Adam, but he introduced us, and he was always proud to say he introduced us. And so that's how we met. I was out in the backyard sunbathing,
mm.
and he went by with his friend in a car, and he wanted to know who I was.
Ah,
So then we had a wild couple weeks of getting to know each other and dating.
oh, that's wonderful.
They had a thing at my aunt's house where people brought food and all the people came there and stuff, and I could not imagine why everyone was so happy because I was not happy.
Yeah.
You know, they were smiling and talking and chatting and just the way people do, you know, and to me that wasn't what they were supposed to be doing.
I hated school.
Okay.
I just never fit.
No.
They had nothing I was interested in. Only thing I've ever been interested in was farming.
Wow. And what's your earliest memory of thinking about that?
But my mother told me, ask Santa Claus for 20 Holstein cows and a barn to milk them in. It doesn't say much for my intelligence, but that's what I wanted.
Well, were you living on a farm at the time?
No, we're up in Medellin Falls, Washington.
Oh.
Dad was
Okay.
working as a meat cutter for Ed Dressel, the Dressel store up there, and Mom was a stay-at-home mom. And I liked Medellin. Well, we lived there two different times. Once from 1950 to 54, and then towards the end of my 8th grade, Dad moved. We all moved back up there again, and Dad went back to work for Dressel in the grocery store. I liked it up there. It was Medellin Falls is a very small community, and
It's beautiful up there, right?
it is. And it's like I never have liked Spokane. Oh, as a kid, I loved to hunt and
Oh.
fish, and Dad loved it more than anybody. And with me and my brother, he always had willing partners, and he took us. Dad had a very good father that way.
Oh, cool. What's your brother's name?
Bill.
Is he still alive? Or?
Oh yeah, he's
Okay, cool.
He's 3 years.
Where's he at now?
He and his wife live on the South Hill of Spokane.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's a retired drug salesman.
Uh-huh.
I spent every summer of my life until I was joined the Navy after I graduated from high school, back in eastern South Dakota on my grandparents' farm.
Ah.
I mean, every summer and I know if the folks would not have let me do that, I'd have probably tried walking back there.
Oh, you really liked it.
Oh, I loved the farm, and
Why did you like it?
the stuff I could do and was interested in.
Oh,
I like to run equipment. Don't ever ask me to fix nothing, but I could run equipment.
ah.
Thought I could. And
But you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
you're out there by yourself.
Like when you say equipment, you mean the tractor?
Tractors,
Or
yeah.
what else?
There's tractors and the implements that go with them.
Oh, okay.
You got to be out there by yourself,
Mhm.
accomplishing something.
Mm.
No one, as long as you're operating that equipment by yourself, no one's bothering you.
Well,
No one's on your ass for anything. So that was good. I happened to go disc a stubble field once and neglected to check the oil in the Ford tractor and knocked the rods out of it. That wasn't so funny at the time, but the funny part of it was my grandfather tried to blame me, and my grandmother turned on him and says, "You're the one you're in charge." You know. Anyway, I was about 12 years old then.
what about the animals? Did you have any ones that were particularly characters? You know, they all have personalities
Oh,
sometimes.
every
so-
one of them.
I mean, do you enjoy that about them?
Yeah, I do. Even the ones that are ornery, they've got a personality. They're not dumb animals.
Mm.
We actually had one of the milk cows here that could count to 4, because she always wanted the last spot in the milking part. That's 4 spots. She'd stand by the door and let 3 cows go ahead, and then she'd cut in and get that 4th spot invariably.
When you did you sign up here in Spokane and then get shipped off somewhere?
I really wanted into the Navy, and I also really wanted out of high school. My dad refused to let me drop out of school. He said I could either finish at Shadle Park or Chehalis, the reformatory, and he assured me he could get me committed. Well, I had no desire to go to reformatory, but he would let me join the Navy Reserve, and I had it all figured out as a brilliant 17-year-old that if I got into that, I could easily, that I'd already be in part of the Navy, I could just volunteer to go to the rest of it, and there's nothing he could do to stop me. It's not true.
Oh.
It didn't happen. Anyway, I joined the Navy Reserve on my 70th birthday. Put in the papers for it because I was in South Dakota.
Oh, you were in South Dakota when you did that?
Yeah, I enlisted in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, to the reserves.
So that
They
was
sent
in
the-
the summertime when you were working on the farm. I see.
18th of July,
Okay.
my birthday.
Oh.
They sent the papers back here to Spokane. Dad signed them, sent them back, and I got sworn in the 29th of July. And then went to the meetings and took a whole 2-week boot camp that Christmas, which, because I made E2, I didn't have to go to the regular boot camp.
Where was the boot camp held at?
San Diego.
Oh. Well, you'd ever been that far away from home before?
No, never to San Diego, but I was back and forth to South Dakota many times.
Yeah. Well, that's quite a bit different being on the coast of California than South Dakota, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What was striking to you about your trip there, or the surroundings and stuff like that? Anything you remember that
What
stands out?
Well, since I went, the first time I was down there was to boot camp, and over Christmas, they had lights on palm trees. And when you leave a snowbank to see that was quite a change. You know, it was interesting, and I like being aboard ship. You're always going somewhere, and I didn't like I didn't mind the discipline, but I didn't like taking orders all the time. Because when you're low one person on the totem pole, you will take those orders, or they will make you wish you had. And but if it wouldn't have been for wanting to farm so bad, I probably would have stayed in the Navy.
Did you go overseas?
Yes.
Where? In Vietnam?
Yeah, I had Curtis Uncle Sam. I spent a year in Vietnam, exactly a year.
Anywhere else?
Hawaii, the Philippines.
What was your job when you were in the Navy?
I started out as a clerk typist, was a yeoman, and just despised that job, even though I was good at it. But I didn't like being cooped up in an office. And then I got a chance to go up become a quartermaster, which is navigations, and went up on what they call a bridge and worked my duty shifts up there. And then I got sent to Vietnam and became a truck driver, laborer, probably the luckiest person that ever had to go there. Nothing ever. The only injury I got was in EM club one night.
No one was shooting at you?
No one was shooting at me that I know of. I thought they were a few times, but it wasn't the case. Only injury I got was from a fellow sailor on New Year's Eve. I wish the son of a bitch Happy New Year, and he hauled off and knocked me cold. So, I was home on leave just before my 19th birthday and Linda's 17th. And next door neighbor, Jim Backus, introduced us. Within a few days, I decided that's a girl probably a few hours, that I wanted to marry. And I don't know how that girl, she said yes. After I jumped through a few hoops with her grandmother and her Uncle Jim.
When you said you had to jump through some hoops with her
uncle and her grandmother.
What do you mean by hoops?
Just meet them and ask their permission type deal.
Oh, how nice. Were they rough on you, or were they pretty easy going?
No,
that's good. You were in the service, so you were cool, I guess.
Yeah, Jim was a veteran, and Grandma, of course, being Jim's mother, she was all for the armed forces. But cost me 5 pounds of peanuts to get Grandma's permission.
Okay.
And Jimmy, he just, he go ahead.
Okay.
I'm not going to stand in her way or your ways.
How long did you know each other before you decided to get married?
Probably about a week.
Wow.
What did you enjoy about our day? We used to go to the drive-in theater. They had movies that you could go to in your car in those days. And you'd fill your car up and you'd go to the drive-in movie to watch the movie. Well, Dale and I, being a young couple in love, we took his brother. He wanted to take his brother always with us. And of course, then he wanted to do some smooching during the movie. And so his brother was sent off to get treats at what did they call it in those days?
Concession?
The concession stand. And poor Billy, just get back to the car and Dale would send him off again for more concessions. And so that was a memory.
The kid never had so much popcorn in his life.
I love it. That's hilarious.
We used to get a pizza at the Panda, and we would go down there, and it was the size of those real inexpensive white paper plates, and they still have those same paper plates today. That is the size of the pizza that we used to get. It would be put on one of those plates. And we would go down there and get those pizzas all the time. And yeah, that could be late at night, and we'd just run down and get one of those pizzas. And no, we planned to get married in the church, and I made my dress as my project for sewing in school. And the girls would come in from the other classes and ooh and ah this wedding dress that was being created at school. And I got an A, of course, on the dress. And then they had a showing on television of projects, and I was asked to show my wedding gown, to wear it and model it on TV. And so I did that
Oh, how nice.
for my
Dale,
one
did you
project.
have a best man?
My brother.
Oh, okay.
But his brother wasn't the one. Well, he did sign the marriage certificate, but his uncle, who wanted to be the best man, he also snuck up and signed
Oh,
Uncle
okay.
Dick.
Uncle Dick also signed the marriage certificate. So we ended up going to Idaho and getting married in the wedding chapel in Idaho.
Oh,
And unbeknownst to Dale and I, our priest was trying to get in touch with us because he wanted us to know that we could have gotten married in Coeur d'Alene and come right back and had our church wedding
oh.
at the
see.
church. It was just a legal formality.
Mm.
But we did have a blessing and our marriage done in the church about a week later at the
Decided that for some reason I decided we'd go to Seattle for a couple days, but we spent our wedding night in Ritzville of all places. We were both sicker than dogs with the flu. We felt like we were going to live the next day. We just drove back to Coeur d'Alene, spent couple days there,
yeah.
and then came back to Spokane, and we rented a little house down in Felony Flats.
Dale was afraid to just be in Coeur d'Alene because his family was all around and he didn't want them interfering with our honeymoon, and he was afraid that they would find out where we were staying and interfere with us. And so that's why he took off and we ended up in Britzville. I remember
That's
waking
funny.
up during the night and saying, "I'm sick, take me to the hospital." And he said, "If you're still alive in the morning, I'll take you."
All
Yeah,
right.
He used to do a lot of things to young couples for their weddings. And so,
Oh, it was
yeah.
a hazing, so to
Yeah,
speak.
kind
Oh,
of.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
in
didn't
those
have time
days.
in life for that.
We did go back to Dale's mother and father's home, and that's where his grandmother had supplied a wedding cake for us. I don't think I even tasted the wedding cake.
I know I didn't.
Oh.
We didn't even get a piece of it. But your mother did save the top of it, and then she told me later that she threw it away, the top of it. And so we really had nothing to do with the wedding cake, but there was one.
The
So,
relatives enjoyed it.
Yeah, the relatives. It was
So
all
then-
Dale's family.
So
Dale's family.
where did you live in San Diego after you went back there?
National
City.
Okay. And so you started your family there?
No, we started Deanna before he went to Vietnam.
Oh.
And that was many trips that he took home. Unbeknownst to the Navy, he would fly home. And then he would get back to the Navy in time to do his stuff during the week. This was before he had to ship over. So
Well,
10 months
then-
later, she was born.
When we got out of the Navy, we went back to South Dakota we were going to start farming there.
Oh, really?
That lasted 4 months.
Oh.
And my grandmother was extremely hard to live around even.
Mm.
And
Your mama came for
when my mother came for Deanna's first
birthday.
During the girls went to town to do some laundry, and for some reason my grandmother got terribly offended because she wasn't invited to go to the goddamn laundromat. So we were having lunch up there, and my grandmother lit her fuse, and all of a sudden my whole world blew to hell. And Linda says, "I'm going home with your mother. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore."
Oh.
And took me a whole 3 seconds to say, "Well, I'm going home. I'll go too." I'm gonna leave my wife and baby for Christ's sake. I
Yeah.
can buy sheep anytime.
Is that when you came back to Spokane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably the best part of our time of our lives. One of the best parts because the kids are good kids. You know, no excess grief at all. Went camping and fishing and
Until we got the dairy farm.
until we got to dairy.
And
Then
Deanna had a pony. She had a pony since she was about 2 years old.
yeah,
Dale's dad brought a pony over for her.
Oh.
And so then we had a pony cart, and they would go all over the neighborhood at Christmas time delivering cookies on the pony cart, Dale and the 2 kids. And I had made the cookies, and they were delivering them around the neighborhood with the pony cart. And I always thought that was a really, really sweet
that was
thing
on our
that they did.
first farm out west of Spokane.
Yeah. And the kids went in a parade in the pony cart and such too. And they just had a really good time with all of that. And then we got the dairy farm, and then everybody had to work on the dairy farm. And Deanna
That's
was,
here.
Yeah.
That's here. And Deanna was a very good milker. She hopped right in and was milking with us a lot of the time. Aaron spent many a day down in the milk house sitting on a plastic bucket because Dale was still working when we first moved up here, and I didn't want to leave him in the home alone. And so I'd be milking down there, and Deanna would be helping me, and Aaron would be out there sitting on the plastic bucket.
Because he was little
Because he
still.
was still little. He is 3 years younger than Deanna.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then Dale decided to be a full-time milker. And then we all did our chores, and he lived in the barn most of the time.
Hence the name, the barn germ.
Yes, Dale the barn germ.
Lindy worked at Yolks, and I worked at Rosars here in Deer Park, and we'd
He'd come over to
come over
Yolks.
to her place for have lunch.
That sounds like fun.
I'd have my Rosars uniform off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get a loaf of French bread sliced and some meat from the deli department, and we'd have us a nice little lunch there.
Sometimes it's for a father, it's hard to see the daughter go off with young men.
Sometimes it was hard to get rid of the boyfriends.
Yeah.
They would
oh.
come.
Really? Like what?
One night, it was getting late. Mom and Lindy and I were tired. The boyfriend's still here. I finally told the kid, you got to go. But went to the door, and there's a bear, young, small bear out there running through the garbage can. I was really tired. By that time, I was pretty disgusted with the world. I went out and I hollered at the bear. I said, get the hell out of here. And then I turned to the boyfriend. I said, now you get the hell out of here. And then we went in and we went to bed. Got ready for the next day.
Yeah, when we first moved up here, the bears would come. We had the Rubbermaid garbage cans, and that's where we'd put our garbage outside the house here. And the bears would come and get the garbage can, and we'd have to go up in the woods hunting our garbage cans. And they'd bounce them around till they get the lids popped off and have a treat. And yeah, we didn't realize that we were in quite the wild that we were in.
I just like being the boss. And I like working with the livestock. I don't take orders well. And this is, we built this.
Yeah.
And I guess I take probably more pride than I should in the fact that we did get this piece of dirt, such as it is.
I think it's well deserved.
Well, Dale and I made it where a lot of people that were in the business couldn't make it. And one of the things that the salesman liked was the idea that I had told them, I always pay my feed bills first. Before we eat anything, the bills are paid before we take any funds for that. And it was a struggle. Dale said we were going to have swimming pools, and he just talked it up like it was just going to be so nice to have a dairy farm until the realization came down that, no, it was quite a struggle over the years. It was financially, it was tight always. I think we had 1 year that we weren't tight, and that was a very good year. I think we had 5 hired men at that time, doing different things. I had some of them, they actually helped us with remodeling the house some.
Oh, yeah.
And building a lot of fences and haying and different things. And so, yeah, that was the only year we ever got audited. We got audited by the state.
Mm.
And of course, I was nervous about that. And I was going over my records before the man came to audit us. And I found a couple little mistakes and I marked them in there. And he came and he said, "You never do that." The auditor. And so we had just a very minimal amount that we had to come up with for the audit because of those couple little mistakes. But yeah, at the time when we came here, it was our parish, and that's where our daughter got married, was in the Catholic Church in Clayton. And but we went there every Sunday, and we were able to get our work done and get in there in time for the Mass at the church in Clayton. Well, last night I thought it was really cute that every month the priest blesses the people for their anniversaries. And we were the only ones to stand up last night for our anniversary. And the priest says, "Dale, how many years?" And of course, Dale says 60. And so then when we left the church, the priest says, "You're up for canonization, right?" to Dale, because of being married so long. And Dale says, "No, she is."
That's really
So
cute.
that was cute. I was tickled that the priest remembered Dale's name because he runs 2 parishes and is very busy. And he knows his parishioners.
Well, you have any words of wisdom for your all your children and grandchildren? And
Stay close.
Yeah.
Enjoy family.
Yep. Go to church.
Go to church. Your family is going to be your longest relationships that you're going to ever have, and your closest relationships.
Yeah.
Always stay true to one another. If you fight, don't go to bed mad. Love each other.
how about a kiss to end it off?
What to know? Love you.
Love you right back.
Perfect.